Oh yeah, episode 110. Here we go. Let's do it. There we go. What's up? Happy Monday. Cheers, everybody. Come on in. Perfect. Yeah, here we go. Vinyl, quick. What's up? I got lots to say tonight, so I'm jumping in early. Wow, we got a great group in here already flying. William, Lilith, Lanny, John, Dan P, Violet. Hey, what's up? Akemi. Genki desu ka? No, I should say, kumbawa. Who's in here? Ruby, Amanda, Lazarus, come on in. We're going to have a great time tonight. I got lots of cool things to talk about, fun things to show you. I'm going to do a couple readings live tonight. I got lots of fun stuff. Let me turn the music down. Wow, what's up? Happy Monday. We are in the middle of winter. If you're new to this, please hit the subscribe button. It's very hard to get subscribers, especially when YouTube doesn't want you to get any subscribers. They don't. Trust me. They prefer corporate media. I'm not corporate media, as you can tell. By the way, there is a cat here running around that I'm watching. He lives upstairs, but he comes down here. And my housemates are in Mexico. So if you see a hairless cat running, he's very mischievous. So the areas I don't want him to go, he goes. But he's a cat, so... Genki. Yeah, so last week was a pure joy. Anybody who attended the show last week, go watch the rerun. I got to interview one of my favorite living legends of all time, a.k.a. Philip Paley, also known as Chaka from Land of the Lost. A living cultural icon that influenced millions. He was on the show. And what a nice guy. What a real person. That's what I meant to say. He's very friendly and clearly talented and smart and has drive. But I like it when people are real. Meaning when you say, hi, nice to meet you, they actually mean that they're happy to meet a new person. They're not just saying it. He's that kind of guy. I was very impressed. I've met him before, and we've been bouncing back and forth over the years online, but that was a full sit-down, hey, what's up? So, Philip Paley, if you're watching, thank you very much. I had a blast. For those of you that like to watch strange and amazing things, well, there's a Japanese, Akemi's from Japan, who's in here right now. The company... Sid and Marty Krofft, or Krofft Productions, produced a show. Oh, Peter, you got to watch last week. We had Philip Paley on. You'll love it. They produced a show in 1980 called Pink Lady and Jeff. Pink Lady, a Japanese pop group called Pink Lady, and an American comedian who to me was unknown. They did a show. And it's filled with guest stars, and I mean real stars. There's only 6 episodes. Look it up, Pink Lady and Jeff. They're remastered in 4K, and the first episode has Blondie. Episode 3 has Donny Osmond singing live. Episode 5 has Jerry Lewis. I swear to God, it's one of the coolest shows ever. Pink Lady and Jeff. So if you want to check it out, check it out. Um, cool thing. So, as you know, I don't watch TV. And if I do, it's very, very, very rare. Wait, where's Olivia Newton-John? No, I don't think she was on the show, but that would have been cool. I last night decided to watch a movie that a lot of people have been telling me my whole life to watch. You'll love it, you'll love it, you'll love it. I finally sat down and watched it. I sat down and I watched, and I've only watched a dozen films in a year. I watched The Big Lebowski by the Coen brothers. And I'm going to be quite honest, I hated it. Didn't like it at all. As a piece of art, I thought it was nothing, empty. None of the characters to me were likable. I get which characters they thought were likable, and I know which characters people like to watch. But I don't like to watch play acting unless it's taken serious. I don't know. I could go on for hours. John Goodman's character to me was annoying, and I know he was supposed to be annoying, but again, I don't want to be actually annoyed after a certain amount of time. I didn't like the main character. I didn't get it. The guy was boring. He was the kind of guy I would not hang out with. He was boring. Rick Sherman. Yeah, I really didn't like it. I would love to know what people thought what was great about the movie. I'm guessing they liked the vibe, but I can get a vibe in 10 minutes. I don't need to sit for an hour with that vibe, or hour and a half. Sherman's like, well, we can debate it. I'm curious. It's like the Tarantino movies. Here comes Kitty. Let's see. Please don't knock my drink over. Please don't knock my drink over. Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ming Master Moo. He's also naked. What's up, naked cat? He's a little boy. I think he's only a year old. Kitty. It's so weird. His body feels like a bare butt. It's like a very... Okay. They don't have whiskers, which is why their personality's so different. All right, get out of here. Do not go... No. Absolutely not. You are not going there. You're fired. Okay. I had to fire the cat. He literally goes exactly where you're... There are cords here with all my camera cables. And he can go anywhere in this room. And he goes right into where the cords are. Big Trouble in Little China. I like this. I like that movie. I saw that at the movie theaters and loved it. I like the actor that's in Big Lebowski. What's his name? The guy that's in, the main actor. I like him. This cat is amazing. The hairless cat breeds, I didn't realize it. They're from the 60s. They're kind of a new breed. And they have the highest temperature because they don't have any hair. Yeah, so I hated Big Lebowski. I thought it was trash. I don't hate the Coen brothers. I do like a lot of their movies. There is a smug quality to a lot of their films. Like, there's a joke and you're not in it. I get that vibe from them. I also get that vibe... I'm trying to think of other filmmakers that have that. No, the cat does not like the Big Lebowski. Oh, here's some exciting news just for my own fun. Some of my band, Toilet Boys, we have some things in the works I can't say anything about. Kind of cool. Especially if you live on the West Coast. But right now, I started jamming with a friend of mine. We're going to do a Ramones cover band. But we're going to do it proper. I always thought that... Yeah, Raising Arizona, way better. Yeah, I didn't like Steve Buscemi in this movie. It's good trash. See, here's the thing. I don't like it when trash is made on a multi-million-dollar budget for Hollywood. I like real trash. I do. I like it when it's made by real trashy people and not rich, famous movie directors commenting on trash. That's just me. I grew up around real trash. I appreciate real trash. I am real trash myself. I do like Big Trouble in Little China. So the Ramones cover band, the goal is to, I mean, the Ramones are dead. The only way to hear their music live is for someone to play it. So why not we play it in a manner that will blow your head off? And not in an ironic way. Make it sound really good, tight, and do what the Ramones intended. And that is take rock and roll and play it so that people can dance to it. That's it. That's what they wanted to do. So that's the idea. As singers go, I think it's going to be a 3-piece, and we all sing. That's the plan. And we're trying to do, like, I don't want to spoil it. Anywho, the band is going to be called Carboners. I didn't think it up. My friend did. Carboners. And it's perfect. We're definitely going to play the song Carbona, Not Glue. The Carboners, or just Carboners, I think is what it should be. Because Ramones, Carboners. Class of 1984. Nice. There's so many great movies. That's why I'm very picky of what I like and watch over and over again. For those of you that like horror films, this is a must. If you like the Phantasm series, this book here, it's all the Phantasm movies, like, told through the eyes of the directors and the actors, and it's really great. I'm on Phantasm 3. Phantasm is one of my favorite series. What else? I finally finished Beyond Good and Evil, and it was literally a catharsis of a catharsis. It was like, I put the book down. I finished it at night, and I just kind of sat with my jaw hanging on the floor. It has the greatest end. It's not a story. It's not like a story, an allegory where he's teaching you a philosophy through a story. It's literally just essays. The chapters are themed, and then there are essays that are numbered. And so as I get to the end, a few of the essays tie together the major themes of the book in a manner that is so poetic and so beautiful that it gave me goosebumps, and I am not exaggerating. I'm going to read a couple passages from this tonight, that, Cat, what are you doing? That blew my mind. And if the cat gets troublesome, which he might, let's see. He's not used to being in here with all these things. I might run him somewhere. He's right there. Yo! Ming! Mingy, come here. Ming Master, come here. His name's Ming Master Moo. Ming Master, let's go. No, don't scratch that. I know you want to. Come here. Here he is. Oh, okay. So I'm going to be reading a little bit. Ow, God. I'm going to be reading a little bit about. I'm going to read a couple passages from here. I'm going to do it right now, actually. The end of the book has kind of a surprise that I don't want to spoil it, but if you're reading the book, basically get a squirt gun. As you can tell, I've never had cats. Dude, Daryl's house has cover bands. It would be my pure honor to play in that venue. I watch those videos, Lilith. That's like, first of all, I'm a big Daryl Hall and John Oates fan, and I've seen them, but I never got to. All right, kitty. Hey, I'm gonna see if I can do a close up. You got to see this guy's face up close. Okay, that's it. All right. No! Don't go there. Oh my God, you are so. He literally runs right in the only spot in this room you can't go. Here he comes. He knows. He just ran out. Okay. So let me read this. So the two things I'm going to read you, Ming the Merciless is a good name too. Yeah, his name is Ming Master Moo. He has an Instagram. Now he's meowing over there. Oh, you're 4 cats. Wow. I mean, did he just knock something over? He lives upstairs, so he lives up there. I bring him down here to keep him company. It's an amazing animal. So I'm going to be reading 2 little paragraphs, one long one, one short one. Akemi. Nikoldaisky. So one of these is Nietzsche's definition of a philosopher that I adored when I read it. And the other one, it's Nietzsche shitting on the Stoics. But I'm going to be honest, I don't think he's really going after the Stoics. Whoa! Kip Winger is writing classical music now? What? I've seen Winger live. I liked them when I was younger. Wow, okay. Just wait till he clears the top shelves. That will not happen in this house. Wow. All Persian. Wow. Amazing. Folks, if you're new to this show, please look at the chatting going on. I don't know. Are my chat points working right now? Can someone check? The other day they weren't working, and I think we reset them. I'm not sure. Rasputin, another band. All right, so I'm trying to think. I'm going to read the definition of a philosopher first, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. And it's almost the end of the book that he does this. And then I'm going to read where he kind of goes after the Stoics. He's not going after Stoics. He's going after people wearing a good guy badge in such an epic fashion that I'm going to read it aloud. And I didn't realize this. About a week ago, I started reading these essays out aloud, and it's really amazing if the poetry of his language comes out when you start to read it aloud. His punctuation is crazy. So I might say what the punctuation is. He uses exclamation points for a reason, you know? Every word this guy chose was for a purpose. All right, here we go. This is Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche. Number 292. Mind you, this is a translation. Whoever translated, I think, did a pretty good job, because listen to this. Uh-oh. Hold on. Cat is back. If for some reason everything shuts off, you know who's to blame. Kitty cat. All right, here we go. A philosopher. That is a man who constantly experiences, sees, hears, suspects, hopes, and dreams of extraordinary things. Who is struck by his own thoughts as if they came from the outside, from above and below, as a species of events and lightning flashes peculiar to him. Who is perhaps himself a storm pregnant with new lightnings. A portentous man around whom there was always rumbling and mumbling and gaping and something uncanny going on. A philosopher, alas, a being who often runs away from himself, is often afraid of himself, but whose curiosity always makes him come to himself again. Wow! I love what he does there. Oh yeah, it's not working, the points. I gotta get that fixed. So, think about that. He basically, I mean, he gives this definition of a philosopher, which has some highs and lows in it. It's like there's this essence of lightning flashes inside that he's experiencing, these thoughts. They're coming externally. But the main thing in here that I love is how he ends it. He says something that as you're reading it, you disagree with. You go, wait, huh? He goes, a philosopher, alas, a being who often runs away from himself. So you're reading this book and he's talking about being an ubermensch, a superman, an overman. And you're like, wait, we're not afraid of ourselves. Or are we? Are we afraid of ourselves, right? And then it says, or runs away from himself and afraid of himself, But, and the big but, as Pee Wee said, everybody has a big but. The but is his curiosity always makes him come to himself again. He doesn't give up. He's constantly going back to himself, asking those questions. That's a philosopher. When I read that, I was like, wow, what a great way to frame it. Now, let's get to the fun one. This is at the beginning of the book, in the chapter, Prejudices of Philosophers. And there's a few words in this that are so hard to pronounce. Wow. Yeah, I love this. Okay. Wait till you hear this. This is the Prejudices of Philosophers. Beyond Good and Evil. Number 9. This is the 9th stanza of the book. Some of the stanzas are one line and some are a few pages. All right, well, after Achilles, wait till you hear this. Now, mind you, he is crapping all over the Stoics. And I myself, I like Stoicism. I do. I like elements of it. And I don't think okay, so I'm going to give you a couple definitions in here so that you know what he's talking about. Living according to nature is what the Stoics' goal is. And by doing that, you might achieve happiness. It's not guaranteed. Okay? Now, yeah, dude, it is great, William, isn't it? So, this nature, living according to your nature, I don't define as nature like the law of the jungle nature, which is what we're going to talk about a lot in this. It's funny because I haven't even gotten to the subject I was going to go into tonight. I might not. It's on metaphysics. Tonight's it's episode 110. Let's get metaphysical. And this will lead into it. So, sounds like the plight of an artist. Well, Fallon, yeah, Nietzsche really, he was an artist, and he really thought artists were really important, which is why I've latched onto this guy. He gets it. He understands suffering, pain, misery, happiness, pleasure. He has the whole package. So, this living according to your nature, how I define it for myself is figuring out what I'm good at, my strengths and weaknesses. Focusing on the strengths, minimizing the weakness, and figuring out what my natural inclinations are because of DNA and also my upbringing and my history. That's how I define it. He's defining people living according to nature as, well, you'll see. He's definitely making fun of it. Here it is. Number 9. Now, he's talking to a Stoic. Oh, yes, he was a composer. I've listened to his work, too. It's okay. It's comparable to some other people. It didn't hit me over the head as too shockingly different or special. I'm going to listen to it more. Yeah, I've listened to some of it, Lilith. I didn't hate it at all. Yeah, he was... Yeah. All right, here we go. Here he is talking to a Stoic. You desire to live, quotes, according to nature, end quote. Oh, you noble Stoics, what fraud of words, exclamation point. Imagine to yourselves a being like nature, boundlessly extravagant, boundlessly indifferent, without purpose or consideration, without pity or justice, at once fruitful and barren, and uncertain. Imagine to yourselves indifference as a power. How could you live in accordance with such indifference? To live, is not that just endeavoring to be otherwise than this nature? Is not living, valuing, preferring, being unjust, being limited, endeavoring to be different? And granted that your imperative, living according to nature, means actually the same as living according to life. How could you do differently? Why should you make a principle out of what you yourselves are and must be? In reality, however, it is quite otherwise with you. While you pretend to read with rapture the canon of your law in nature, you want something quite the contrary. You extraordinary stage players and self-deluders! Exclamation point. In your pride, you wish to dictate your morals and ideals to nature herself, and to incorporate them therein. You insist that it shall be nature, according to the Stoa, and would like everything to be made after your own image, as a vast external glorification and generalism of Stoicism. With all your love for truth, you have forced yourselves so long ago, so persistently, and with such hypnotic rigidity, to see nature falsely. That is to say, stoically, that you are no longer able to see it otherwise. And to crown all, some unfathomable listen to this. And to crown it all, some unfathomable superciliousness gives you, the Bedlamite, hope that because you are able to tyrannize over yourselves, Stoicism is self-tyranny, nature will also allow herself to be tyrannized over? Is not the Stoic a part of nature? But this is old and new, Cat. But this is an old and everlasting story. What happened in olden times with the Stoics still happens today. As soon as ever a philosophy begins to believe in itself, it always creates the world in its own image. It cannot do otherwise. Philosophy is this tyrannical impulse itself, the most spiritual will to power, the will to creation of the world, the will to the causa prima. Wow. Okay. This is outstanding. At the end, he calls philosophy... What the hell are you doing? Oh my God, you dummy. What are you doing? Get out of there. What the heck are you doing? Cats are amazing. All right, how many lives do you have left? 8? All right. I guess he just used one up there. At the end of this, he says that philosophy is the most spiritual will to power. How crazy is that? He's based... All right, Cat, you're driving me nuts. Get out of here. Go, go, go. Get out. Thank you. So, he's basically, at the end of that, I think he's talking about people wearing good guy badges. He's talking about the idealists that think the world actually has these pure and perfect forms. Meaning, and that's why I want to get into metaphysics, there's some sort of permanent thing that's good. A thing in the universe that represents good. And here, he's like, folks, if you've ever studied nature, it doesn't exist. We've invented these things. And so, at the end, he's like, look, all the philosophers out there trying to achieve wisdom, and it's a noble thing to do. He's like, no, it's a will to power. It's the most spiritual will to power. Yeah, it's so great. I really can't believe how great that is. So, metaphysics, the definition of metaphysics. How shall we define this? Well, metaphysics are, it's a way of describing, it's another word for supernatural. Metaphysics, beyond physics. And it's funny, the first version of it, it became an actual branch of philosophy. But the original way to look at metaphysics, oh yeah. Hold on, before we get into this metaphysics, Fallon has something great. Finding your own nature is a goal, and living according, albeit, yes, Yeah, well, that's how I define it. It's me finding my value. You know, that's to me how I define it. And him saying that it's self-tyrannical, he is right. It is a little self-tyrannical, but the goal is to make, if you make it a little hard on yourself for certain things, it's so that it's easier later. There's a reason for it. He's just going for the jugular, but he's also making fun of virtue signalers. That's what it is. He's killing virtue signalers right there. He's like, shut your mouth. You're saying that your values are better than this guy's and that you're doing the right thing and you're following the Stoa, and then he just throws it out in the garbage. It's kind of amazing. Well, a lot of that comes down to his belief in non-belief in metaphysics. And Stoics were theistic for the most part, a lot of them. So myth was the beginning of it all. Myth is how we understood anything. It's where we developed this realm of metaphysics, telling stories, fantasy stories. Metaphysics is dealing with the foundations of reality, right? There's a two-world theory. Anaximander. He was a philosopher. Ancient Greek. Metaphysical. Yeah, he thought that there was the indefinite and the infinite. And Plato also saw two realities. And I wanted to talk about this. Instead of Plato having the ghost world necessarily and the real world, he had the realm of forms. Forms meaning what makes this cup a cup. Like if I cut this bottom part off, is it still a cup? Yeah, it is. If I cut the top part off and I just have this bottom, is it a cup? No, it's not. The thing that makes it a cup is it has sides that go up in a fashion that holds a liquid watertight. There's no hole in the bottom. So if you got rid of all the cups in the world, a cup still exists in the land of forms, the land of concept, right? It's a meta thought. It's like, it's not really a land, but it is one because we've thought of it, and it exists between you and me in our minds. Actually, you could say that it exists as an imprint in a cell somewhere. Ooh. Okay. Wow, you could go in that hole for a while. All right. So, what did Nietzsche think about this all? Well, let's get into that in a second. So, metaphysics. All right, before we get to Nietzsche, because Aristotle wrote a book called Physics. And then the sequel was called Metaphysics. It's where the term came from. So he wrote a book called Physics, and then he wrote a sequel called Beyond Physics. And Aristotle, broke metaphysics into two categories. Number one, first causes. And this one's fun. Wait till you hear this. First causes, that which does not change and from which emanates. The things in this world that we experience, things that don't change, a first cause. Always something. There's a solid thing that exists. It's the beginning of something. It would be where the land of free will exists. Because if I'm going to choose whether to drink from the bottle or the cup, well, right now I could take a sip out of here or out of here. But I don't know if you realize this, but I've already made my mind up and don't even know it. According to some neuroscience new and determinism, I am influenced by my whole life right now to make a decision between a bottle and a cup swig. And I just took the cup. Now, if you could get into my head and see my brain scan, you'd probably be able to see that I chose that cup early. And it made it think that I had a choice. Yeah. So first cause would be in free will, If I'm going to choose cup or bottle, well, it really is a free choice. I could go the bottle or the cup, or it doesn't matter. I don't have any influence before. It's a first cause. I have a free choice. No influence. Not possible. The second branch, he thought, was the study of being. Aristotle attempted to identify and delineate the fundamental categories of being. Oh, the study of that which is or that which exists. The study of being is reality. Just what is reality? I don't even know. Is this real? The other one's the first cause. The second is what is just reality. Think about that. It's a headache. And then, I love how they broke everything down into graphs. That's what these guys did. They'd get an idea and then figure out how to write it down in a graph. Here we go. We got general metaphysics and special metaphysics. So general metaphysics is what I just said, the study of being. What does that mean? To be alive, to be real, to be... What is reality? Is this real? Am I actually feeling this? Or is this my mind telling me that I'm feeling it, right? 2, special metaphysics. Cosmology, rational psychology, natural theology, immorality, mind and body relation, and free will. They put it in a different category. General metaphysics, they call ontology. Let's see. Properties, numbers, events, relations, souls, material objects, universals. Do they exist? Are there universal truths? Are there universal anything? This is where God shows up. Redness, squareness, beauty. Do universals have any sort of existence apart from the particular thing they occupy? It's a lot of brain power. If you want to sit here and chew on these, it gets deep. One hole opens more holes. It's fascinating. Here's a great quote. Metaphysics is the finding of bad reasons for what we believe on instinct, by F.H. Bradley. Thoughts. Okay, now, this is where I want to get into this a little bit, because Nietzsche... Where's my Nietzsche page? This is good. Nietzsche didn't like metaphysics, and he had some neat thoughts on it, and I think you're going to like this. Finding your own nature. Oh, yeah. Does this go down? Yeah. So check this out. Facing direct reality. He thought Plato was weak. He flees to the ideal. One must face it. All right, here we go. Nietzsche liked Heraclitus, who was an ancient philosopher who did not believe in a meta world. And Nietzsche came up with a reason why we like metaphysics. And you'll see this is so easy to apply to so many things. The real and natural world is what we want to get away from or deny. Okay. Metaphysical, the metaphysical realm, let's say heaven, is good. It's permanent. The metaphysical realm ain't going anywhere. Earth is going to die one day. We are not going to be here. The whole notion that our evolution's going to beat our demise and how evolution works, I don't know if it's going to happen. It could. Oh, Kitty's back for trouble. The physical world is evil. Why? It's defective. Things rot and die, right? Because meta is permanent and physical world here is ever changing. Change is suffering. And man looks for this true world of permanence to escape suffering. It's a secret desire to run away from suffering. And yeah, it's literally he called it the metaphysical need. It allows delusion that there is more, a perfect place. A hidden agent causes this. So, all right, I always talk about how we evolved to believe in God. We did. I don't believe in God. Gods, deities. I hate the word God. I hate it. I don't believe in deities. I don't believe in anthropomorphic ghost types floating in the universe. There could be other realms with other beings, of course. Most likely there are. But as gods in a metaphysical realm, I mean, again, maybe when we discover the other realms, maybe the way they exist is so far from our brain that it appears to be a god. This is how H.P. Lovecraft looked at it. But we evolved to put a hidden agent behind something. You know, you see a thunderclap and you go, I wonder what that was. I don't know, but I'll bet it was a man throwing a lightning bolt in the sky. It's an ego game. When I do a magic trick, there are certain types of people that are fooled by the magic trick, and their ego is so bruised that they make up how it's done to satisfy their ego. They go, oh, he had a trick deck of cards. And I'll go, here, you can have them. Take them home. No, I know their trick. I don't need them. Like, I just basically said, I'm going to prove to you they're not trick. And they get mad and go, no, I don't want them. You're lying now. You're just doing that to prove me lying. I've encountered that many times, not just once, many times. I've seen it in the flesh. I've seen people get aggressive and angry because a magic trick couldn't figure it out. And so they invent an answer. We do this. This is our survival. This is will to power. This is what it is. And so he really thought that we elevated fiction to reality because of this weakness. It makes absolute sense, does it not? Please, someone point me in a... Yes, Mark Mothersbaugh. De-Evolution. Devo. Great band. I really can't think of another better explanation. The only counterpoint I would say to Nietzsche, and I'm sure he would agree, is again, we're using definitions. I mean, there's so much that we will never know or could know. Could we know it is the question. We think we can know everything. We do. As humans, we think we got it. There's the religious people that think they understand the metaphysical realms, and then you have the scientists that think they understand the physical realm. And if you have a counterpoint to a scientist, you are a science denier. And if you have a counterpoint to the metaphysical guy, you're a blasphemer. I see flaws in both sides. Yes, science works, just like the shaman figured out how to predict the weather, but that's using our senses and this brain that's this big. You know, there could be realities that we can't understand, that if we saw them, we wouldn't even know what we were looking at and we would go insane. That's why I always liked the writer H.P. Lovecraft. I thought he had a really good way at making that feeling of something so beyond our existence that it hurts mentally. If you ever play H.P. Lovecraft role-playing games or board games, they have like your health. You know, you have 20 hit points, and if you lose them, you're dead. But they also have insanity points. And if you get too many, you also die. You go insane. So Ruby, it's literally what Ruby just wrote in the chat. It's interesting to take the time to observe different reactions to the same things. I'm very lucky in the last, I don't know, 40-some years of my life or more, I've been able to do some experiments. I'm doing magic. I'm being hired to entertain people, but I can't do that. I mean, I am doing that. That's what they are. But me, personally, I'm doing an experiment for my own fun. My own wizard is doing an experiment on human nature. And the more I learn, the more I'm a better wizard. And so doing the same trick over and over again, old person, rich person, young person, poor person, every ethnic group on earth, different languages, the same trick, and watching how they react, you start to learn about human nature a lot. It's the thing that I think I have an advantage over most occultists. There's so many people out there claiming to be experts on the occult. And, oh, math. Okay, right. You're right. I was going to bring this up, John. This guy, John D. is me, just wrote, the only universal truth I can think of are found in math, but math is a human idea, so who really knows? Do you know any people I've met that took DMT, which is a drug that really lets you kind of see inside your brain? I've never had it. I've had hallucinogens, but I've never had that one. It's almost like being able to open a window and see inside your head, which we're not supposed to see. And I've met a lot of people that tripping their brains out on DMT are like finally getting ready to meet God. And it's math. And it's so cold and isolated that they don't know what to do. And it makes them go nuts. I've met this people. So maybe math is God. I wrote down something. I wrote some personal notes here that I'm going to end on. And this is where we can go nuts now and riff. I was thinking about the archetype of a modern wizard. I use the word wizard a lot as the archetype, as who I look at myself as, just because I have a few disciplines inside, not competing. The disciplines in my head are complementing each other and learning off of each other, right? And in that, there is in the reality that I can work with, or I think I can work with, there is a metaphysical realm that's real. It's not necessarily real, but it's real in the sense that people believe in it. And not only do they believe in it, they discuss it. And there's movies, and there's books, and there's comic books, and there's different versions of the metaphysical realms. And there's different, and there's typo, not math, meth. The only universal truth I can think of are found in meth. But meth is a human idea. I love it. Great joke. I want the time dilation from DMT. Yeah. It's supposedly what DMT only lasts a little bit. Yeah. I'm not there. I don't need to go there. I would rather approach seeing inside of my brain by having dialogues with myself. So I thought about a wizard. And when I use the word wizard, I also am referring to the Wizard of Oz. I am. I'm referring to magicians. I'm referring to Dr. Phibes. I'm referring to the Wizard of Oz. I'm also talking about shaman to a certain degree, yes. So I thought the wizard is one that doesn't believe in the metaphysical world, but he uses it as a weapon and as a reward in the will to power. So a wizard, a shaman, they don't necessarily believe in the metaphysical, but they believe in its reality of a certain type, and they use it as a weapon and as a reward in their will to power. It's the person that Nietzsche warned against as being a very powerful person. Well, I would say that Nietzsche's criticism of that, what I just said, is that the priest class started to use slave morality as their will to power, as a totalitarian drive. So the new morals are coming from a slave picked on point of view, looking at the all-powerful corporate masters and hating anything that has to do with power or money or of a certain stature above, right? Anything, it's all bad. And so the morale code there became popular. And through that, we have fake democracy, right? There's people picking their leaders. Obviously, it gets corrupt in 1 second. I don't know how anybody wouldn't think that would happen. But, and so in there, the guy that's like, all right, I'm going to rise up now, uses the idea that people are herd mentalitied and now have a slave morality. He's able to use that against them and rise up and control. And that's what Nietzsche was like. Watch out for that guy. The wizard I'm talking about is below the radar. He would never want to be that person because that's the guy that gets taken down. He's the first one to get taken down. The real wizard goes underground or is in disguise of some sort. Could be a karate teacher, which we talked about, a karate guru or a yoga guru for that matter, in disguise, right? This wizard who's using a metaphysical realm as a weapon and as a reward. It's both. It's great. It doesn't exist, but yet it does. And there is the power. Wow. What are your thoughts on this, folks? We got a few minutes. I'm curious. Weakness is strength. In what manner? I'm curious. What weakness meaning strength of the person dominating them? Yeah, the power behind the throne was the priest class, in modern era. I'm getting ready to read more Xenophon. Right here. I'm getting ready to read this book. It looks like a pretty easy read. So this is Xenophon. It's Cryopaedia, the education of Cyrus, who was the Persian leader. And it's his story by one of the greatest philosopher, general, warrior, military tacticians ever live, Xenophon. He wrote this, and I'm going to get ready to read it. I'm just curious because this is the realm pre-slave morality. So I'm very curious of what values are in here, and which ones I will identify with and which ones I won't. Very curious. To me, that's what these are for. They're for me to reflect off of me. I'm not consuming these books other than so I can bounce them off of ideas I've already learned, which is why this whole philosophy game is nuts, because it's a can of worms. I mean, you just saw me now. I just said metaphysics. There's these 2 categories, and then these 4 categories, and then these 4. Now you can see why people go to college and get doctorates in this stuff. It doesn't end. And I think it's funny that there are those that think that philosophy is like a joke science. It's not really science, but I think it is science. It's a science of thought. Because all science is, this is why I get mad when I hear people throwing the word science around. Science is just a body of knowledge. It's a system of collecting a body of knowledge and then using that to make more, to build off of more knowledge. And people go, I trust scientists. Well, I don't trust scientists. I trust science. Scientists are people, just like the priest class, who are influenced by, I don't know, Exxon hires scientists. So do the makeup companies that torture cats. So, okay, well, Peter just brought up something. You're right. Everything I talk about applies to today. He just wrote that what I'm talking to is related to censorship and manipulation campaign that's currently being wagered by the ruling class. Yeah, everybody's jockeying for power. I don't think there's one group. My buddy and I were talking the other day, and he thought we disagreed, but I was like, no, I agree with you. I think there are people that have power and they want to hold on to it. And then there are other people that don't want them to, and it's just this ebb and flow, right? Foundation of all truths. Well, yes, and I would say yes and no. I would say that philosophy, again, it's hard to define philosophy, at least for me, especially after reading Nietzsche, because according to him, the truths are where? What truth? What's true? It starts to get very gray and muddled, and dude, please don't go, oh God, cat. He literally, he's a cat, he's a master. He jumped in between the chords. You have your lizard thinking brain, of course, thinking in ways and concepts which connect them and all make, yep. So, okay, so let's just get into, and I'm not getting into this today, this is another subject, the empirical evidence way, meaning the only way to know anything is with your senses. But I'm living will and testament that that's not good. Our senses are not accurate at all. They're terrible. And our memories aren't even accurate. I've seen experiments where they say that, somebody saw so-and-so at a crime, and then they have eyewitness testimony. I've asked this to a lot of lawyers. Kat, come here. Eyewitness testimony is terrible. And I know this as a magician. I can't believe you can get the death penalty from one eyewitness. Eyewitness testimony is not only not infallible, I can plant false memories in people. I do it all the time. It's my job. I get paid to plant false memories in people. Now, how am I supposed to believe anything anymore? Even scientists, for that matter. Really, I'm not kidding you. I'm not exaggerating. I know I have scientist friends that believe that there is a Jewish guy floating around in outer space that died for his sins. And he's a scientist. And he logically believes in that as a notion. And that's the guy that's a scientist. So to me, scientists, just like humans, because they are easily influenced by preconceived, just like the philosophers that Nietzsche shit on. They have a prejudice that comes before. They have a way of, senses are BS. A little flood of serotonin affects them. Yes, exactly. You have a little bit of those chemicals and those senses are not working correctly, or they're absorbing information that they normally wouldn't observe or accept. I always use the example, too, of how corporations hire scientists all the time to show the data that supports their cause. That's the problem now. You can show data to support any cause. You really can. It depends how you're testing it and what variables, and it's amazing. It doesn't mean I don't trust science all the way. Of course I trust science daily. And I wouldn't be doing this show right now if we didn't have scientists involved. But it's still not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. It has so many flaws. It has philosophical flaws in it, which is why it's interesting. There are no absolutes anymore. At least from my end. None. My gosh. I honestly, it's a can of worms that most don't do well with. Let's just say that. And this book here, BGE, Beyond Good and Evil, most won't read this. And I'm going to say right now, anybody out there, this is an amazing book. It requires effort. It's a very short book, but you're not going to sit there and breeze through this and understand it. You need to put the extra, you need to watch some lectures, get a study guide, take your time, write your thoughts, and then it starts to, and like I started reading it out loud, and it really had a whole new layer. I'm getting ready to read The Antichrist. I'll probably read tonight. I already started with the intros, and I read like the first few pages. Pretty cool. I don't know if it's as good as this. We'll see. This introduces many concepts um, that I don't think the Antichrist goes to. The Antichrist is him literally shitting on slave morality from Christianity, from Judeo-Christianity, from the whole movement. And I think that book, he points out a lot about what slave morality is, where it comes from, and how it took hold. And not only that, I don't know if you know the Christopher Hitchens book, God is Not Great. The subtitle is How Religions Poison Everything. And he really meant that, everything. And I don't know if he was referring there to Nietzsche, because Nietzsche said it too. He's like, look, the Jewish carpenter's gone, but the moral code behind it permeated our cultures all over the world, everywhere. And so Buddhism mirrors it a bit. There's some notions in Buddhism that it also leans to that. And so one thing positive in the philosophy of science is that it can accept new information. Yes. Yeah, well, that's it. That's the good part of science is, to me, the best part of science, and should be, is that it's constantly trying to prove itself wrong. Right? If you prove something wrong, you win a prize. That's awesome. Unfortunately, the whole movement of disinformation is going to stop that. I can't stand the whole misinformation thing. It's nauseating. Dude, if you're going to get rid of misinformation, you better start calling up the churches, the astrology groups. Dude, there's no end to it. So it's a can of worms. That's why I'm like, It's all misinformation. Everything's misinformation. Nothing's perfect. Wow. No, I don't think these are lessons. He said, thanks for the great lessons tonight. I'm not teaching here. I'm just having fun. I'm just thinking out loud. And you guys are thinking out loud with me. That's what we're doing here. We're bouncing ideas. We are idea bouncers. That's what we do. If you ask me what my favorite thing to do would be, sit on the beach with a cup of coffee and talk about things with a good friend. That's all. I can't really think of anything else I would rather do. Sitting and thinking for me has turned into something new. It's become a hobby. It's weird. I wrote a little essay the other day for Instagram. And if you're not following my Instagram, follow it. I post a daily essay 5 days a week. 400-word essay 5 days a week. I wrote a little essay. I forget what point I was going to make. My mind is now bouncing ideas. Oh, on Professor Cardone. It's funny. I don't feel like a professor at all. I actually feel like a professor when I'm teaching how to do magic tricks. It's the one thing that I really do feel that I could put the professor badge on. I have a system of doing magic and a way of working it that I like to teach, and I know it works. I've tested it thousands of times, and so I'm very confident in it. Philosophy, I'm a student of this. I am a philosophy student, 100%. I've spent the last year, we're getting on a year and a half of a deep dive into the realm of classic and modern philosophy. And it's changed my life. It really has changed my life. I'm not just saying that. It's blown my head off. And anybody out there that's having fun with this too, I'm having fun with you. So thank you. Knowledge must be, well, when you share knowledge, it's how you learn it. It's the part of IQ that people forget. You know, to me, having a high IQ, it's like you got to be able to take in layers of things, see the layers, and then communicate those layers. I know a lot of people that can't do that. And that's fire. I mean, that's it. It's fine. I like to do that. It's a hobby. It became a hobby. Here's what I was going to say. If you told me 3 years ago or 4 years ago that you're like, Cardone, you're going to wake up every day and write 400 words. And I would be like, what? Yeah, you're going to write 400-word essay every day. Really? I hate writing. Well, you won't in the future. Really? How's that even possible? Yeah, I don't know. You don't like to write. Well, so then you go, oh yeah, not only, so what am I writing about? I ask myself. Well, I don't know, philosophy mixed with some daily life stuff. What? I would never have believed you. If you told me I was writing an essay about a different rock band or my favorite horror films, I don't know. I would believe that. Hey, Cardone, you're waking up every day and writing a 20-word blurb about your favorite horror film? Maybe. I buy that. But not a long 400-word essay. So, thank you, everybody. I'm going to go eat. I didn't eat yet. And I think I'm going to go read. And I have some housework to do. And I got to deal with Kitty Cat. And I have a kind of a busy week coming up. I'm starting to get bookings. Thank the gods. Business looks like it's creeping back. I've got summer bookings. I even have fall bookings. Amazing. That's what I need. As a working entertainer, I need these bookings in the future. So the people out there booking me and my agents, thank you very much. Let's get this rolling. And folks, if you're new to the channel, hit the stupid like, hit the subscribe. It's the least you can do. If you're the crazy type that like to donate, by God. Oh, did someone just tip something? Fallon, thank you very much. Wow. Thank you, Fallon. I just saw it. I don't know why the graphic didn't go off. Yeah. Thank you. If you tip, it goes right into me and my show. I literally work full time performing and doing my things, and so it all helps. The most important thing is hit the like and subscribe. It makes a big difference. Lilith, your support is gold. Thank you. Yeah, I got lots to do. A lot of little things to do. Cheers to Dr. Bob Johnson. He had a recent tragedy, and he doesn't watch this show, but a lot of people in here know him. She was awesome. Yeah. All right, folks. What else? Oh, yeah. Clownvis lives. Clownvis is great. He really is. If you want to check out a fun show, go look at Clownvis's channel. Tell him Cardone sent you. Dude, he sent some people over my way. Thank you, Clownvis. All right, folks, I'm out of here. I got to eat dinner and get back to life. You guys are fun. I'm Cardone. This was episode 110. I'm on my way to episode 200. Come on, this is crazy. All right, I'm taking us out with the end credits. And then, yeah, that's it. Party on.